Very proud to have you here with us this morning. Want to give us some of your ideas on what's going on in
Thank you very much for having me, Ray, and I appreciate it. Even getting up this early. I'm actually very impressed that you're able to do this what is it, once a month?
Yep.
Saturday morning. I'm very impressed. It seems to be a good group. I'm glad to see that we have both sides of the aisle here, and the mission of County Watch is a noble one. So thank you for having me. I didn't really prepare any remarks. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself and maybe a little bit about the process by which I obtained this seat as Orange County Commissioner. I'm from here in Orange County, in Orlando, born and raised, and grew up here my whole life, and went to school in North Carolina at Wake Forest, and went to law school at Florida State. Came back down here and started practicing law for a few years, after which I got into the investment banking business, and then just recently dipped my toe into public service. So I have a daughter, little Virginia, who's 8 months, and I have a wife, Helen. So that's a little bit about me. How I got into this position, it was not a month ago that I went to an event where Teresa Jacobs was on the panel of speakers. And after the event, I went and spoke with her, and she mentioned that they were starting to look, I guess the governor's office had brought to her attention that they were going to want to replace Louis Damiani in his seat as he was the former commissioner of District 3. Basically, the governor's office wanted to put one of their own people in there because Louis was appointed by Governor Chris and didn't have any party affiliation, so I guess the governor wanted to put in a Republican. So anyway, so I was talking to Mayor Jacobs about this, and nothing really came of that, but a couple days later, I got a phone call from the governor's appointments office, and they said they might want to set up an interview for me with the governor. And I think by this point they had a short list of folks from the area that were in the running. And so I had a lengthy phone interview with the governor. I had a meeting with Mayor Jacobs, went through the whole process, applied formally, and as luck would have it, I ended up getting appointed by the governor to this seat. So that's how it went. Truly, there was no collusion. There was nothing involving my dad trying to get something or anything like that. It was it truly was a situation where I applied, I interviewed, and I was fortunate enough to get the job. And I'm very happy to be in this position now. One of the stipulations by which that was a key to my appointment was that I wouldn't run for election for this seat, which I was happy to do. I wasn't going to be running for election for this seat anyways, so it wasn't really that great of a sacrifice. Mayor Jacobs wanted that to be the case because, and I agree with her, I think it's very smart, very wise of her, because she wanted whomever was to be elected in November of 2012 to be elected without any sort of unfair advantage of having been appointed by the governor being the incumbent. And so I understand that, and so I'll be a caretaker for the seat. Not to say I'll be an empty suit on the commission. I certainly will have a voice, and I'll certainly be a voice for District 3. I'm going to ensure continuity for the district. I know some of the residents of the district are worried that perhaps because there's someone new in office now, that some of the projects that were going forward would be halted or anything like that. Nothing like that would happen. I kept the prior staff, which are marvelous people, Jessica Rivera and Ingrid Pietrita, and they're very they have a very good relationship with the community, and they're very knowledgeable, and they also have a good relationship with Orange County staff. So I was happy to keep them, and that was another way for me to be able to ensure continuity in the position. So I'm going to be spending the next little while, I have been spending the last little while learning a lot and getting briefings on every different matter. I'm going to continue to do that. Over the holiday season, a lot of the folks at the county were out of the office or busy and that kind of thing. So I haven't been able to get every single briefing possible, but I'm doing that as I go along. I'm taking tours of the county, I'm meeting with folks, and this is one of the things I want to do. I want to meet with some of the folks that may have a problem with my appointment, or may just want to meet me and understand what my goals are and what my agenda might be. So that's a little bit about me. I'd love to just open it up to questions and see. Okay, that was easy. You had your hand up first over here.
Oh, one of the debates that we've had that you've not been party of is the inference that to be an appointee of the governor you had to buy your seat. So therefore, congratulations, it sounds like you haven't bought your seat.
I've given no money to the governor or Mayor Jacobs for that matter. So, but
Yeah, but Mel Martinez was the first ever charter review attorney. I crafted the charter in
That's right.
1988 and 98.
That's correct. It was. Yes.
I'd like to know specifically what you're going to do differently than Louis Damiani, what you're going to do about jobs in this community, the job situation in this community is what are your plans? What specifically will make you different than the person you're replacing?
That's a good question. Like I said, a lot of what I'm doing right now is learning and getting to know what some of the particular issues are in specific. As far as differences with Louis, I will say I like Louis a lot. I've met with Louis, and he's a good guy, and I think he had the district headed in the right direction. So I'm not going to say that I'm going to do some things differently than him because he was doing something wrong. I do think job creation is a vital aspect to District 3, to Orange County, and to Central Florida in general. Well, of course, it's vital to the whole country. But in District 3 in particular, it is a problem. Economic development, what do you do about that? The thing is, I'm only going to be in office for a year, and so I am going to be limited with what I can do. However, I'm going to do everything I can to promote local businesses being able to thrive in the community. I'd love to promote urban infill in this area because you have developers that are building outside of the core of Orlando area. Maybe not as much now as they were in 2006, but finding some sort of incentive for folks to redevelop a lot of the areas in this district that need that, because I think that's a big part of it. The community is older. There's this District 3 was built a long time before District 1, for instance, and so a lot of the buildings, a lot of the infrastructure is dilapidated and needs some help. I know there are some projects right now that are online that we're working on and we'll be continuing. So I hope that answers a little bit. As far as specific goals for creating jobs, that's a tall order. I'm all for it though. Economic development is one of my top priorities, and when I see any opportunity for that, I will jump all over it. You have my word on that. Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Martinez, thank you very much for coming. The reason I wanted to ask you a question is because I would like to invite you to a lecture at Rollins College on February 16, 2012. The author Gar Alperovitz is coming to Orlando. Gar Alperovitz is one of the designers of the Cleveland model of worker-owned cooperatives in Cleveland, Ohio, that has been written in Time Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, The Nation Magazine, etc., etc. He's coming here because we want to start worker-owned co-ops in this area. Several of us belong to the... Question. Just a minute. I belong to the Semoran Business Partnership in this area. And I think that's another organization that you should reach out to.
I have plans to meet.
Very good. And so what I'd like to do, my question to you is, would you please attend that meeting on the 16th of February at Rollins College, so you can apprise yourself of this marvelous project that is going on, that is just taking over, that is going all over the United States. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, assuming there's not a meeting I have or a commission meeting or anything like that.
I understand.
But,
much appreciated.
Yeah, I'd like that. That sounds interesting. I'd like to learn more about that.
Very good. And I can even send you some stuff before.
Yeah, please do, please do. Yeah, there's email.
Excellent. Again, thank you for coming. Everybody here appreciates that. At the end of your opening speech, you mentioned that you, I think I kind of had had an agenda or some plans, if you will. So I was wondering if you could just maybe highlight what your top 3 or 5 goals are. Obviously, you have a limited amount of time, but if you could kind of maybe highlight some specific goals that you hope to achieve over the year that you're going to be serving.
Okay. Well, I don't quite have 5 at this point, but I have a few that have stood out to me already. Well, first of all, just the overarching goal is to ensure continuity, like I said. I will say homelessness is a problem. Homelessness is a problem, in particular in District 3 and further east. I know that's going to be, there's a homeless drop-in center that is being debated right now on the Orange County Commission. And so there's a good chance that that drop-in center will be in District 3. And so that's a big issue, and also transportation for folks that, the homeless folks, but also transportation in general along not just the 50 corridor, but throughout District 3. I know transportation is a big issue. Homelessness, transportation, economic development, I think actually I would put it number 1. However, that is, like I said, that is a difficult, that's a difficult issue just because everybody wants it, and if it was that easy, we would have it already, and we would have more jobs. It's just, unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast. But that is a priority of mine. So those 3 things. I want to think, I'm going to be an alternate on Metro Plan, and so that doesn't mean that I'm actually sitting on the decision-making board, but I will have some input there, and I know the Wekiva Parkway is a big issue right now, so that's going to be another point of focus. And I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Those are a few of the main issues I can see. In urban infill and redevelopment would be another one. That's another thing that takes years to accomplish, and so maybe I can set that forth. Maybe I can get that started. I unfortunately won't be able to see it to fruition, most likely just because of the limited nature of my term. Yes, sir.
Sorry. One of the issues that is the county's facing right now, and I know that one of Scott Maxwell's, not the Democratic Party chairman, Scott.
I heard he was. I saw it on Twitter earlier.
Scott Maxwell pointed out in his article is that the mayor has to provide some leadership on is the question of domestic partner ordinance for the county comparable to the one recently passed in the city. What's your position on the domestic partner ordinance?
I'm meeting with Mary Meeks on Monday. That's meeting Mary Meeks Monday. She'll update me on the whole issue. I'm aware of it just from what's going on in the city, and I know that it's going to be coming to the county soon. From what I can tell, just looking at the face of it, I don't see any problem with the domestic partner registry. It seems like it's not marriage, and it's not even the civil union per se. It's, I think, a step down if you're going to oversimplify it. It's a step down from that. However, I think it seems like a fine idea. But before, I'm not committing to anything. I am going to be meeting with her, and I need to review some materials before I can make a firm decision on that. Yeah, you can. Yes.
Back to the transportation and also urban growth and stuff. What's your position on establishing a hard line for the urban service area? Econ used to be it. I'm not sure it's still there. I don't know about the southeast corner where the high-tech corridor is running. If they're going to draw a hard line against the Desert Edge Corporation. Also, transportation. I mean, what is the position trying to with a permanent transportation fund to fund links and also maybe expand the Sunrail to maybe create an east-west connector rail system in this county?
Okay, I'm not trying to skirt it, but now we're starting to get into topics that are a little more, I still need to get briefed on the transportation issues. I'm meeting with them, I want to say Wednesday, I'm not sure, but can I just say that I'll look into all those things? I mean, as far as transportation in general, I mean, I know Lynx is struggling and underfunded, I'm aware of that. As far as the Sunrail, I don't know what exactly you meant with, where would Sunrail be going? Or what is your proposed idea?
From the land all the way.
Sure.
Yeah, but the vision would be, how do we create an integrated transportation system using rail system, which folds into the urban service? You're talking about infill.
Yeah.
As long as
Yeah,
it's strong, you're not gonna have infill, you gotta get the density.
Sure,
Density in this
sure.
county's been dropping for the last 50
And
years.
these stations on Sunrail, you have to get from the station to wherever you're going, you know, unless you're going to the building that's right
But
there.
then basically create a grid system.
Yeah.
A grid for rail, so Link's buses can actually go sub-grid within that rail grid.
I mean, I think that's a great idea. I'll look into that. I honestly don't have an opinion on it yet, just because I don't.
The mayors have been
Yeah.
talking about something about
Yeah.
the funding too.
Well, I'll just tell you that I'll look into it, and I can give you a card if you want to follow up on
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Oh,
Good morning. Do you know the area of the Eco Trail?
sorry.
Okay. Are you planning to do anything about the extension of Chickasaw to make access to the Eco Soccer?
To the park?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great idea. For those of you that don't know, Chickasaw basically T-bones with 50, and on the other side of that, you take a small road to get to this soccer complex. And the idea is that there's the area just north of 50, before you get to the soccer complex, is largely wooded area. There's some wetlands in there, which I think might be a problem. But the idea is to bring Chickasaw straight through to the soccer complex. Now, I'm aware of that, and I think it'd be a good idea. It's a matter of getting the funding, whether that comes from the property owners, or if there's something done in conjunction with the county and the property owners. So, but yeah, I think it's a good idea.
We are dealing with that situation, and I saw that on the south of Chickasaw, they spent $8.5 million on doing a expansion on the street of Sunset, and they didn't make any action. They said that they had no funds. But I don't know also if you know that the smallest street where they go, they have the only access to the park is full of highway houses there. They got like 5 or 7 highway houses. The only way that the people can drive to the park and leave the children unattended there because they have to practice theater and so. They are surrounded by people with highway houses, we have predators, we have all kinds of things.
Do you live back there?
Yes, I live
So
there,
you're
but
Arriba?
I have, yes, I
Okay.
live. Everybody knows me.
Like
I fight with this.
Oh,
I fight with this, and John Kelly knows me, and I fight with this more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The last day of my life, I will just.
Yeah.
Madam Chair?
No,
Yes,
Are-
yes,
May we have people identify themselves as members before they ask questions?
thank you. Mike, are you in the door?
Hey, hey.
No.
Thank you.
But I am not a member, or I practice the county work because my home is surrounded by security camera, and I watch it.
But just so you know, that I am aware of the issue, and there are halfway houses along there, and it's a bad situation. So I'm aware of it, and funding is very tough to come by right now. But I'm aware of the issue, and I'm going to work towards some sort of solution there because it's needed.
And even that street, they use it for commercial purpose. Sir.
It's a membership group. You can't speak in your
I have to be membership. Oh, it's a special.
It's a membership group.
Welcome to stay, please.
I can do it. Thank you so much.
Well, he had. You had your hand up earlier.
Well, I don't want to break the protocol.
Oh, okay. Let's talk.
Okay. A quick question on the redistricting. With the redistricting that's happened, of course, District 3 has now become the largest district by population. And
only by little though, because
enough.
Yeah.
So it is the largest district by population, and there's been some adjustments in terms of who is now incorporated as part of District 3. And how do you see a candidate, and there's a candidate here also that's running, with the candidates, they have to run under the rules of the new maps. So how does that work on an elected basis? Do you have any idea?
We actually have two candidates, one candidate, one potential candidate, I believe, right?
For District 4.
For just, right.
Actually, Todd, I'm also running for District 3.
You are running for District 3 as well? Okay.
All right.
So just curiosity, with the map, with the redistricting map changes, how does that affect a candidate's run? Or how they, is it the current district that is actually electing and then the other people just have to accept it, or how is
As
that?
I understand it, and I think it would be a matter of looking at the state constitution to figure it out perfectly, but as I understand it, the redistricting doesn't actually take place physically until the end of this year. I think it might be December. And the candidates that are running in November will be sworn in December 10th or 11th, somewhere in there. And so I would assume, and again, I'm not positive, but I would assume that the folks that are running need to be residents of the new district, according to the new boundaries.
But it's the old boundaries that's actually electing them? Pardon me?
Through the redrawing of the lines,
yes,
they would have the opportunity to move into the district if they were elected.
All right, but the people that are actually electing it are electing him to office are the current boundaries. Is that correct?
Correct.
Oh, the people that will be voting, you mean, or the
people that are voting? Is it going to be incorporating the new people?
I think the people that are voting.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Okay.
I met with Bill Cowles.
Okay,
It's the
perfect.
new district that will be voting for the person in August in the primary and November in the general.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, perfect. See, I'm not running, so they know more than I do about this.
Great, thank you.
Again, thank you. This is a two-part question. One, you mentioned since you're not allowed to run for this seat again, do you have any plans to run for any other elections in the 2012 election cycle?
You said two-parter. That's the first part?
The first part is...
Okay. Basically, no. I don't have any, certainly not in 2012. Somewhere down the road, who knows? That's not, I'm not writing it off, never say never, but I don't have any immediate plans.
Right.
And that's not on my list.
The second part of that question is Julius Melendez, who I believe you know from Osceola County, just announced that he was going to be running yesterday in Congressional District 27. I was wondering if you were planning on supporting him or if you had any words of support for him.
Well, I do have words of support for him. Julius is a good guy. I know him. I'm not formally supporting him or endorsing him right now. I need to sit down and look at the entire race before making any decisions like that. But Julius is a good guy, and I like him. And if Julius were elected, he would do a very good job.
Thank you very much.
I got a question. I'm sorry.
One more question.
Yes. My name is Cheyenne Elijah. I'm the Affirmative Action Chair of the Democratic Party. I have two very important questions. One is, do you feel that you were more qualified than the other two Republican conservative gentlemen who had applied for this position? And secondly, I really want to know if you, as a Cuban American, and I'm also, an immigrant came from a place of dictatorship, do you believe that meritocracy is an important democratic value, a small d? And do you and your father believe in it?
As far as the other folks that have applied, whether they're more qualified, I don't know if they're more qualified or less qualified. I do think that I am adequately qualified for the position. So that's how I can answer that. As far as meritocracy, of course. I think in our system of government, and not just in government, but in the private sector as well, meritocracy that's part of who we are as Americans. I didn't run for this position. I was appointed to it, but unfortunately, those are the laws of the state. That's how it works right now. And I know there is some debate as to whether or not there should be a special election or an appointment by the governor. I can see positives to both. But again, I feel like I'm not qualified. So. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me, Ray. Appreciate it. Everyone, appreciate it. I have a stack of cards if anyone needs to contact me or my office, and I look forward to a discourse in the future.
Michelle Wright from the Ontario Park
Yes.
Neighborhood Association said that you're going to be there Monday night.
Monday?
So she was very happy with that.
Yes.
So,
Yes. I'm looking forward to that actually, because this is something I want to start doing, is just on a very regular basis meeting with the folks that have issues in the community. Azalea Park has some problems, and there's some drainage issues over there, and they're going to have some public works coming in, so I want to talk to them about that. So.
That would be great. I know she'll appreciate it. I'm sorry I can't make that meeting. I wish I could.
I'm sure we'll be talking plenty though in the future.
I hope so.
And again, thank you everyone. I appreciate it.
You know,